Well, hello there. Happy Sunday. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you're having a good one. Have you ever struggled with money with your significant other? I'm sure you have. Reading the paper today, ran across an interesting article. Money has a big role in marriage happiness. It was written by Wes Moss, author of Money Matters, and is the chief investment strategist at the Atlanta-based Capital Investment Advisors. He has a column in the Sunday paper in the business section. I think every other week he comes on. Anyway, I love reading his stuff because it's financial related, and we can identify with a lot of that stuff. So happy Sunday, Dr. Joe. Welcome to Your Wellness for Life. We discuss all the different aspects, the pillars of wellness, which is the state of being, and money, finances, and marital relationships and couples and stuff is all part of that happiness of the wellness. So question today is, can money impact marital bliss? So Wes Moss in the paper today, he did a huge survey of something like 1,600 couples or something. It was a lot of people, and he came up with 6 phases of your marital life, 6 phases, and we're going to go through them. They're kind of fun. And he came up with like a happiness quotient. So a scale of 0 to 3x. So 0x to 3x, and 1x is kind of like baseline. So if you're less than 1, you're probably less happy, and you're above 1, you're happier, with 3 being the happiest. All right. So can money impact marital bliss? You know, couples tend to argue about 2 big things, money and sex. And since this is a family show, we're going to stay away from the sex part. We're going to talk about money today. So can money impact marital bliss? I think you're gleaning from this that the answer is probably yes. So let's go dive into it. All right. So remember the scale of 0 to 3, with 1x being kind of baseline, average, okay. So stage 1 is called the honeymoon phase. That's years 0 through 6. And that's where it's one of those happy phases where a 3x, happiness is high and it's rising. It's the fun and freedom phase. We got stable cash flow. Both of them are probably working. They got budding careers. And guess what? They usually don't have a mortgage yet, and they usually don't have kids. So they're having fun, 0 to 6 years. And I can identify with those. The first 2-3 years, my wife and I were living in San Francisco. We had a 4-bedroom townhouse. She was working for PG&E. I was an intern in OBGYN. And we had no kids. We had no mortgage. We had a Cocker Spaniel. We had all the room in the world. And we traveled up and down the West Coast and went to Hawaii a couple of times, once with no kids, once preggo, and once with a 6-month-old. But then we'd already moved up to the Seattle area, and we were still in that 0 to 6 blissful phase. Now, when we moved up to the Seattle, the beautiful Pacific Northwest, we did buy our first house in a little town called Puyallup, Washington. And it was lots of fun. And we went to Hawaii a 3rd time with a 6-month-old. And unfortunately, it rained the whole week. And we just watched him learn he was 6 months old, just learned. We were watching him roll on the bed. And then the last day, finally, the sun came out. We got some pictures of us actually sitting on the beach in our clothes, ready to get on the airplane to fly back to San Francisco. So phase number 2, years 7, 8, and 9, all of a sudden on the happy quotient, it takes a little dive. So from 3x, you're going down to 0.5x. So again, 1 is kind of average baseline. Now you're below the baseline. You're starting to get a little unhappy. And it's called the sticker shock phase. And why are we getting unhappy? Well, kids finally come on the scene. Kids are expensive. And the other thing is you start trading those adventures, those trips to Hawaii, and the trips to the beach with no kids to kids. And then guess what? You don't have much savings yet. So now you're living from paycheck to paycheck. And the other things start coming on the scene. Oh, private school, maybe. Then there's daycare. Both are working, sports camps, teams, bats, ball bags, all this other stuff. And then guess what? You got kid one and kid number two, number three. Now you need a bigger house, you need a bigger car, you need a bigger SUV, got a bigger minivan. Get the picture. And then, oh my gosh, you got some student loans rolling in that were deferred initially. So all of a sudden, financially, things are starting to get a little tight, a little tight. And so obviously, can money impact marital bliss? Absolutely. This is also the phase where men need to be very understanding of their wives, the significant others that carry those babies. And, when you're pregnant, you don't, feel too good sometimes. And you may not want to be too intimate. And then when you're nursing that baby, you may not feel too intimate. And some guys just take it the wrong way, feel like they're left out, they're no longer special. And you've heard of that famous 7-year itch. That's probably one of the things that runs through there, that financial 7-year itch. The guy feels kind of left out, and we got to address that. So kind of in that stage 2 and beyond. All right, so moving on to stage 3. It's years 10 through 23 of marriage. So that's a 13-year stretch. It's a big one. And this one encompasses the stage that the Wes Moss calls from me to them to us. Again, Wes Moss is the chief investment strategist at Capital Investment Advisors. He wrote this in the paper today in the business section. And the title is Money Has Big Role in Marital Happiness or Marriage Happiness. So I'm going to give credit to him and edify Wes Moss of Money Matters. Okay, so stage 4. Stage 3, 10 to 23. You went from 3x to 0.5x. Now you're rising up a little bit, 1.2x, because your income's starting to go up. So you can start affording vacations, and that little fun and adventure starts coming back like in those first 6 years. So from me to them to us phase. And so the stage 3 phase, starting to crawl out of that hole. Now we're moving on to stage 4, which is marital years 23, 24, and 25. And it's the return of the sticker shock phase. And all of a sudden, you take a nosedive again on that happy scale of 0 to 3. You're down to 0.5 again, which is where you were in stage 2. And guess what? You got those teenage kids. Now they're thinking about going off to college. Now you're filling out applications, and now they're going off to college. And guess what? You got tuition. Then they want an apartment, and they want a car. Then they don't want to eat at the sorority house. They don't want to eat at the frat house. They want to eat out every night. They're asking for more money, more money, more money. Been there, done that. Yep. And on top of that, now you've got retirement planning hitting you. You may have some career promotions, and if both of you are career-oriented, that may kind of pull you apart a little bit, put a little bit of stress in that relationship. And you may then, at some point towards the end of that phase, enter that empty nesting phase. But, they're off to college. You got lots of bills coming in. You're still paying for your mortgage. So it's kind of stressful there. Next stage, stage 5, that's marital years 25 through 39. So there's another big stretch. It's called the budgeting relief phase. And finally, on that blissful quotient, you start going from that 0.5 down in the hole. You're back up to 1.5. So you're a little bit above that one baseline on that scale of 0 to 3. And it's the me and us phase. Finally, you start seeing a little light at the end of the tunnel. You start seeing a little bit of joy. Your kids may start becoming self-sufficient. Hopefully, if they don't become boomerang kids. Go back to some of my previous Facebook Lives. We're talking about boomerang kids. Finally, maybe the college tuition's been paid, or at least it's their deal, okay? Just like it was your deal in phase 1 or phase 2 or stage 2. You may actually start addressing some personal hobbies. That's kind of cool. Get to play a little guitar or something, go do some gardening, or take up a tennis lesson here and there. It's that retirement gray zone or pre-retirement gray zone. And you finally say, the best is yet to come. Your work schedule starts getting a little bit easier. You got a little bit less stress. You're a little bit more senior wherever you work. So pretty good. And you're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And then comes stage 6. And on that happy quotient, so that's the 40 plus years of marriage, your happy quotient, you're back up to 3x, which is where you were in stage 1. So it looks like you begin your marital life and you end your marital life on that 3x really happy stage. It's the gratitude, excitement, and joy phase. You're usually in your 60s plus, 60, 70 beyond. You're kind of retired or almost retired, unless you don't want to be retired. You may want to find something of purpose for you. You may start having some grandkids, maybe. You know, now with all those millennials, they've delayed getting married, they've delayed having children. You know, you may be 80 before you see one of those grandkids. And then hopefully, if you're not too old, you can start taking them on an adventure, you know, take them to Disneyland or something. Hopefully, you know, after this pandemic settles, we can go back to Disneyland and that kind of stuff. By this phase, your mortgage has been paid off. You're starting to downsize. Marital bliss is abundant. If you're still married, you got some financial stability. You got some wholeness, purpose, and real joy. So, of course, money does not buy happiness. According to Wes Moss, you need to have some commitment, compatibility, and connection, obviously. But money does play a role in this. Again, 6 stages of marriage and the money issues that come along with that. But the good news is you start out happy. If you stick it out, you're going to end up happy. And hopefully you'll have some money for travel and some of the fun things. Now, if you're in a situation in any of those stages, I've heard that $500 more a month can sometimes make or break a marriage that's financially in trouble. So making an extra $500 a month is not that difficult. Send me a message, send me a comment, and we can work on that. And if you're someone my age and you're looking for purpose, you know, you're retired or about to be retired and your kids are gone and you're looking for something to do and you don't want to learn the guitar, don't want to learn a foreign language, don't want to garden, you just want to be around some exciting people, send me a comment, send me a message. There are lots of exciting things that you can do that will give you purpose and joy and connection with a fun group. So, Dr. Joe from Atlanta, happy Sunday. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you had a good one. Hope you're not standing in line waiting for your table. I'm going to go downstairs. I got some baked potatoes in the oven. I'm going to grill a grass-fed, hormone antibiotic-free steak. We're going to have some veggies on the side, large salad, and maybe a nice glass of red vino. So God bless you all, and we'll catch you all tomorrow. Dr. Joe from Atlanta. Bye.